I have to give it up because God has a sense of humor that is absolutely unmatched. His timing is impeccable, and his consistency blows my mind, even though I've had a relationship with him since I was in fourth grade. He still continues to surprise me. He is too good to not believe. Do you want to know what heaven looks like? It's looking like me and you. I want to be tried by fire, purified. Now, I wasn't going to try and do that with my singing voice because my singing voice would have been off. And you guys, well, you could have laughed at me, but my mama would say that, look in the mirror, fall in love with what you see. And then if somebody else has a problem with it, it's their problem. But I heard those 3 songs today when I got up and I got to spend some alone time with God. He's too good to not believe. Do you want to know what heaven looks like? It's looking like me and you. I want to be tried by fire, purified. You see, these songs were designed to play in my ear today. And it's wild because the meaning of those songs came from 3,000-year-old wisdom and then were translated through my parents, my mom and my papa, and then they were driven home today with music from Maverick City. You see, what my mom would always say to me is, count your many blessings, name them one by one. She told me this because she wanted me to understand that if I focused in on the blessings that were in my life, I would have no room for foolishness in my life. My pops would say, boy, you're the greatest, so act accordingly. And my parents would always encourage me every single time there was a trial that it was just God's way of refining me and to invite his discipline and get excited because blessings are on the way when the times start to get rough. Proverbs 10 reminds us to focus in on his greatness, that we are made perfect in his image, and to invite discipline because we need to be prepared to accept the blessings that are on the way. So why don't we get this party started?
Nothing more on my mind. I got 2 shines, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
He's too good to not believe. Do you want to know what heaven looks like? It's looking like me and you. I want to be tried by fire and purified. You see, God 3,000 years ago wrote words that were consistent with Proverbs 10 today. And Proverbs 10 today is November 10th, 2025. And the things that are happening in the circumstances, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. It's amazing to be able to see God's consistency. He took it, and 3,000 years ago, he wrote it in Proverbs. He knew that on the 10th of November in 2025, there was going to be some circumstances. And what I want to invite you to do is to read the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day. And what you'll start to see is that God's word will come alive. At first, you'll read the word, and then the word will start to read you. And you'll see these principles start to play out in your life. And it's unreal. First, it was in Proverbs 10, 3,000 years ago. Then my mom and pops would constantly tell me over and over again. My mom would say, count your many blessings. My pops would say, you're the greatest boy, so act accordingly. And they would both say, when there's trials, when there's challenges, that it's just God taking the time to purify you. And he's purifying you to get you ready for the blessings that are on the way. Started in Proverbs 3,000 years ago. It came to my parents through growing up, and then it hit with Maverick City with 3 consecutive songs that were on shuffle today. And it all said the exact same thing, and it was all consistent. It's amazing because I think God is up there laughing, just playing, just having fun, saying like, I can make that happen, that happen, that happen, and you have no idea all the plans that I have for you. So the challenges that you have right now and the things that you're going through and the fire that is happening all around you, I'm simply refining you. But if you could see on the other side what is happening, you would relax and you would accept my peace, you would accept my joy, and it would pass all understanding. Let's hop into Proverbs 10, right? So Proverbs 10 reminds us to focus on God's greatness, that we were made perfect in his image to invite discipline, because we need to be prepared for the blessing that he has on the way. Watch this. Here we go. It is wise to honor your parents, mama and pops. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I thought that I was listening to, well, a lot of times I wouldn't listen to you because you're my mama and my pops, and I just thought I live with you all the time. I hear these things all the time. My mom would say, count your many blessings when challenges would happen, and I'll be like, I don't want to hear that. I just want to get mad. But she was saying, count your many blessings, so that way you take up all the time focusing on all the great things that God has done in your life, and that way you won't have any time, son, for foolishness. My pops would say, you're the greatest, son, so act accordingly. At first, when I heard that I was the greatest, I would pound my chest and say, yeah, I'm the greatest. And then he would give me the charge and the challenge and the responsibility that I had by being the greatest, which was to act according to that greatness. And if every single person inside your organization, every single person in your family, and all of us understood that we were the greatest, and then we acted accordingly, we would start to see things change. And finally, my parents would reiterate all the time when challenges and trials came that it was just simply God taking the time to turn up the heat, because the heat would cause refinement, and that refinement would get us ready and prepared to be able to accept the blessing that was on the way. In verse 1, it's wise to honor your parents. You do this by listening and applying what they said. And I want to honor you, mama and pops. I want to honor you every single day. I want to honor you through every single thing that we do. And it was amazing because we just had the Vibe Room, which is a live version of the podcast. And we had Alexis Ruddick, who is the wealth and legacy builder. She's talking about tax strategies. We had her there. We had Joe Sib and RJ Sands, stand-up comedy. Then we had the COO of Amaze Insights, the icon in the hospitality industry, Nick Horgan, come and give us a keynote. The #1 motivational speaker in the world and founder of Elevate the Voices, James Dixon, give a keynote. We also had Old School Ice Gree jump up and do a live performance. We had the Sullivan Band. We also had Aaron Suker, the founder of the Suker Agency, that a guy came to him with a pair of shorts and an idea, and Aaron helped to turn it into a $5.4 billion business called Viore. And then we had Larry Namer, the founder of the E-Entertainment Network. And the whole night, the Vibe Room, what it was wrapped around was that you never know where someone's from, you never know where they're going, you never know where you'll meet up with them again, so make a friend out of everyone. And that was words from my pops and honoring him. It's wise to honor your parents. You do this by listening and then applying. And I promise you, mama and pops, I will apply it. I've listened and I will apply it for the rest of my life, no matter what business venture, no matter what situation that we're in. And I want to honor you. In verse 2, 6, 7, 15, and 16, so this is pretty important if it was repeated in there in Proverbs 10, in verse 2, 6, 7, 15, and 16. Stuff and things have no value. I hear my pop saying that. Boy, stuff and things have no value, although there is unlimited wealth in righteousness. And some people stay away from the word righteousness because they think, oh, it's self-righteous. No, I'm talking about righteousness, just doing the right thing. How do we know what the right thing is? We know what the right thing is when we just simply spend time with God. And he'll show you exactly what to do at the exact right time. And when you do the right things for the right reasons, the right things will turn out always, but not on your time. In verse 3, count your many blessings and you will be too busy for foolishness. That comes right from my mama. In verse 4, 5, and 26, laziness does not work. Diligence plus prudence is undefeated. Diligence, right work. Prudence, the thought of the future. Those two, when you add them together, they're absolutely undefeated. In verse 8 and 17, wisdom invites discipline. In verse 9, integrity creates security. When you're the same in the dark as you are in the light, it creates security. It creates increase within your life. In verse 10, 11, 13, 18, 19, 20, 21, 31, and 32, you hear how many verses this repeats it. This is how important this one is. So buckle up, grab a pen, pause this right now, and then come back. And when you have it, do you have it now? Now you want to write it down. Speaking life is an unfair advantage in life. Speaking life is using someone's name and then something specific about what they did that inspired you. I got to do this with my pastor, Jason Giannotti. He told me years ago that every time he preaches a message, he gets attacked by God or gets attacked by the enemy after he gets done preaching, because the enemy knows he's powerful at that time. And he said, so I need a lot of prayer every single time when I do a talk or I preach a sermon. And I reached out to him today and I said, hey, a couple of years ago you said this and I just wanted to pray with you. And I prayed with him and he sent me back a message and he said, man, that meant so much to me. Because it was specific. I used his name. Speak life to people. Speak life to environments. Be very, very specific and use people's name. It perks them up and gets them so excited about what they're doing. That's how you build a family, a relationship, an organization. In verse 12, love is the ultimate power play. When you are filled up with love, when your heart is filled up with love, it'll come out your mouth. It'll get your words will start to turn into your actions. And when that's all based and rooted in love, you can't lose. In verse 14, wisdom stores up knowledge. You see, wisdom is the right use of knowledge, and wisdom goes after all the knowledge because it knows how to use it. But the only way to get wisdom is by the fear of God. The beginning of all wisdom is the fear of God, so it's just the respect of him. So when you spend time with him, see his words, see his actions, you see that they're in line, you'll respect him. When you respect him, he'll give you wisdom, and that wisdom will seek out knowledge. But before you ever go after any knowledge, make sure you have wisdom because you need the right use of it. In verse 22, the wealth that comes from God's blessings cannot be worked for. This is probably one of my favorite verses in verse, it's 22, Proverbs 10, 22. God is going to bring the increase and you won't be able to explain it away except the fact that you spent time with him. I can't explain the Vibroom, how it happened, what happened, that it was sold out for the 9th consecutive time. I cannot explain that except I can explain that I spend time with God and he leads those steps. And when he directs the steps, I tell you, it's lights out. And that night was lights out. In verse 24, God is the author and finisher of all the desires of your heart. The difference between a desire and a want is a desire is in line with God's will. And the way that you know God's will is just by spending time with him. And then he'll give you desires of the heart, and then he'll be the finisher of them too. But it's different from just wanting something. Make sure they're in line with God's will. In verse 25 and 30, righteousness is a firm foundation. You can build every single thing on it. And what is righteousness? Is just spending time with God and finding out what he wants you to do at that time. When you do the right things for the right reasons, the right things turn out. In verse 27, the fear of God is invaluable. The fear of God or the respect of God is absolutely invaluable when you just spend time with him. That's all God wants is for you to just spend time with him. In verse 28, righteousness brings joy. When you do the right things for the right reasons and the right things start to happen, it brings joy, which is the art of falling in love with your current circumstances and allowing magic to happen around you. And when you're full of joy, guess what will happen? Everyone will be attracted to you. Things will come to you. They'll come to you without effort, but you can't explain them. You can't systemize them. You can't package them and sell them. What you'll have to do is tell them how you got it, and that was by spending time with God, and that'll direct people's eyes towards God as opposed to on you, which is the most ego-crushing thing that you could ever do. As we finish up in verse 32 and 33, God's ways create protection. God's ways create protection. When you study him and you spend time with him and he directs your steps, he will protect you on all sides, personally, professionally, spiritually, and financially. As we finish up here, look at God. Look at what God did in Proverbs 10, 3,000 years ago. And then he reiterated it through my parents growing up. And my parents pass away. And now I have on November 10th, 2025, he delivers the exact same message that is consistent with Proverbs 10 that was written 3,000 years ago, the way that my parents raised me, and Maverick City music that was on shuffle. You can't make this stuff up. He not only calls us, but he gives us the answers to the test. He is consistently unbelievable, although I will stand on it for it because it's a firm foundation. He spoke through his word 3,000 years ago, through my parents, and then through songs today. He's too good to not believe. Do you want to know what heaven looks like? It's looking like me and you. I want to be tried by fire, purified. My mama, this is what she said. Count your many blessings, name them one by one. That was in line with the first song. The second song was my pop saying to me, boy, you're the greatest, so act accordingly. And both of my parents, when it says, I want to be tried by fire, purified. Both of them would tell me in times of trial that God is refining me and to invite his discipline and get excited because the blessings are on the way. I want to thank you, God, first of all. I want to thank Mama and Pops for reiterating, and then I want to thank Maverick City Music for writing the songs that would be on shuffle. Again, you can't make this stuff up. You cannot make this stuff up. Spending time with God is absolutely invaluable. Proverbs 10 stated it, parents reiterated it, and Maverick City brought it home today. I want to encourage every single one of you out there, if you're in the trial, God is just refining you. He's just purifying you. Spend some time with him tomorrow. Get in the corresponding proverb for the corresponding day, and I promise that word will come alive. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. It's always a pleasure. The Vibe Room is coming March 11th. We haven't even released tickets. It's almost sold out again. And when we release tickets, make sure that you click the link and you go to it. It's a live version of the podcast, and I tell you, it's an absolutely electric room. I want to thank you guys so much again for tuning in. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I am officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make